Namaste. My name is Kirti, and on behalf of Himalayan Yoga Association, I welcome you all to this online teacher training course. I am a teacher here at Himalayan Yoga Association, and I will be taking you through the concepts and details of the human body and yoga altogether. Let's hope you enjoy this course. Let's start.
Namaste and welcome back to the online yoga teacher training course. In today's video, we are going to discuss prana and its functions as well as its importance. Both are the same things when it comes to the human body's organ systems. But before we go ahead and do that, let us both come together and chant the Gayatri Mantra like we do before every video. So simply sit straight with your spine completely erect. Whether you're sitting on a chair, whether you're sitting on the mat, doesn't matter as long as your spine is straight. Adopt a mudra with your hands and rest your hands on your knees. Now with your eyes closed, let's start observing what's taking place, what's happening on the inside of your body. Allow yourself to immerse in your breath completely and without creating any disturbance, without giving into the temptations of the mind. Just follow the breath as it moves in and out. It may be very difficult to adopt this habit at first, but eventually, just like how everything else, practice makes a man perfect. Just practice observing the breath and you will be able to reap the benefits of sitting still, comfortably and meditatively. Now slowly, after a few breaths, bring your hands to your chest in Namaskara Sthiti. Allow the back of your thumbs to touch the heart center while keeping the posture as it is and while keeping your eyes closed. Let's chant the Gayatri Mantra together. Slowly breathe in once. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Having absorbed the vibration and effect of the mantra, you can start rubbing your palms against each other. Now after you feel this energy, you can transfer it to your eyes. Cover your eyes with your palms. Now massage your face, the back of your neck, shoulders, elbows, knees, wherever you wish to transfer this energy to. Once again, before you open your eyes, fold your palms, bow down to the universal truth, and with a few blinks, welcome back. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss prana as well as its importance in human existence in our lives. Now, prana, you must have heard this word so many times. Some people confuse prana with oxygen. Some people confuse prana with air. But what we need to understand is that air does not only have oxygen in it. Air has so many other gases inside of it. If you're standing next to a fire, then that air will also have smoke, which is going to carry toxic elements, toxic gases inside of it. Just like that, every air particle inside the body has prana inside of it. Now, what is this prana? Prana is, in yogic terms, defined as the life force that gives life to each and everything, whether it's animated or whether it's non-animated in nature. Whether it's a tree, it still utilizes prana inside of it. Whether it's, of course, if I give you the example of the tree, then it does require oxygen, carbon dioxide, sunlight, water, so many things it requires to stay alive, to carry out its purpose, to live out its function. But prana is still a valid thing that it consumes, and according to yogic science, according to yogic philosophy, prana is something which gives life to each and everything that lives in us, that we are, and that is surrounding us as well. Everything, whether it's living or non-living, has some level of prana because it has some level of structure, existence, and purpose to it. If there is no prana, then that certain thing, whatever element it is, it will be lifeless, it will be dead, and it will soon lose its physical existence as well, depending on the nature of whatever object that is. The difference between oxygen and prana can be as simple as thinking that, you can externally pump oxygen inside a human being. Whenever there is a deficiency of oxygen in the environment, that person can still breathe in that oxygen and can still stay alive. But you cannot pump prana inside a human being, even though there may be abundant oxygen in and around a dead person. So this is one of the reasons why prana is defined as the life force, something that gives life to the people, to the things around us. If that certain object does not have life, irrespective of the presence of oxygen or not, that person will lose its shape, its structure, its existence from the environment completely. Now, another term where this prana always comes into the picture is the pranayama. Pranayama is coming from two different words, prana and yama. Prana, which means life force, and yama, if you remember from the very first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, from those, the yama comes from that thing wherein it means to control. So pranayama collectively becomes to control the life force. And this is why pranayama is not just about the various techniques that we practice in the name of pranayama, ujjayi, bhastrika, alternate nostril breathing. Yes, these are techniques that have been designed, but at the same time, anytime you're consciously observing, consciously tampering with your breath, anytime you're paying attention to your breath or you're controlling it in any way, it becomes pranayama. So on those lines, there are 5 types of existences, auras, when we talk about human beings. There are 5 different types of koshas, 5 different sheaths, so to say. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, and anandamaya kosha. All of these koshas, they are the 5 different aspects to human beings. We are going to discuss these different koshas in another video. In today's video, I brought up the whole topic of koshas for you, just so I could tell you that specifically the pranamaya kosha or the life force kosha is further divided into 5 different aspects, 5 different types of prana, or what the prana becomes when it enters the body. Pranamaya kosha is primarily made up of 5 different types of pranas, namely udana, prana, samana, apana, and Vyana. These 5 types are also called as Vayus inside a human being. Vayus, if you translate it to English, then Vayus in Sanskrit means air. Air, wind, which enters the body. It changes its function, it divides itself into different responsibilities when this prana enters the human body in itself. The prana as a collective figure is of course life-giving, and how is it life-giving is what we are going to understand in this video itself. By looking at this video, I am sure you can make out the differences of the different characteristics, the different portions of a human being. You'll see that the body is divided into various parts. The arms, the legs, the head are decorated with one particular pattern. The lungs or the chest area, the thoracic area of the body is a particular pattern in itself. The stomach or the torso area, the digestive area, is a certain pattern, and the hip area, which deals with the excretory organs, the intestines, the anus, the anal rectum, all of these things, they are created with a different pattern. All of these different pranas, they have a different role to play when the prana enters the body. The prana, of course, it's living outside and it's working as a collective whole, but when this prana enters the body divides this prana into different roles, into different categories, and it has different functions to play when it comes to the human organ existence or the human organ systems. For instance, let's talk about the udana. The first role, let's start with the prana itself. The prana, which is the lungs area, as you can see with the polka dot pattern, this prana is basically the place from where the prana enters the body and from where the prana leaves and transfers itself into different portions. We can also say that the prana aspect of pranamaya kosha, here in this case, is what the prana becomes when it enters and transfers and distributes itself into various other roles. Do not confuse yourself with the prana as the life force in this case. We can simply say that in this case, prana is the force which draws energy inside the body. This basically deals with the respiratory system of the body, as if there is no respiration in the first place, then the human body would not be able to survive, because it will lose out its capability to inhale any air, any oxygen, any prana inside if there is a disturbance in the respiratory system, which this specific prana deals with, as you can see highlighted here in the diagram itself. After this prana enters, it gets transferred into various directions, up and down inside the body. When this prana moves upwards or downwards, then it reaches the stomach area, which is also the digestive area. In case of the samana prana deals with the digestive area of the human body. Here, the generation of energy, the transformation of food particles into energy, nutrition, or waste happens. The stomach is considered the powerhouse of the human body. On the same lines, when this prana enters the body, it helps in the process or the transformation of this raw organic food into raw energy or discarding waste in itself. If there is a disturbance in the prana, of course, if there is a disturbance in any of the system, then the human body will not function the same and will eventually lose its existence. But as long as the person is healthy, as long as the functions and the organ systems are healthy, the prana responsible for the transformation of energy happens in case of the samana. Samana simply responsible for the generation and the distribution of energy. Energy is the key word here. Distribution of energy into various other parts of the body. The third stage of prana, now at the same time, just because I'm calling them stages does not mean that it is a step-by-step process. No, as soon as the prana enters in the lungs, the energy, this prana gets distributed in all directions and they all can perform their own functions individually. There is no step-by-step process in this case. Let's come back to the topic. Apana, as you can see right here, the diagonal lined pattern in the hips area of this particular diagram deals with apana prana. Apana prana basically deals with expulsion of waste outside of the body. If the body has created energy in case of the stomach region, if any distribution of energy has happened, then the body needs to get rid of the waste outside of the body as well. Otherwise, this waste which will stay collected inside the human body will start creating problems in itself, and I'm sure all of us have experienced problems related to not being able to discard waste. In fact, according to yogic philosophy, they have given so much importance to the expulsion of waste that they understand that the human body is a living machine and not a trash can or a dustbin. So the trash, the waste particles, they have to move out so that the whole process of human beings, it can continue without any tolerance, without any disturbance. Apana Prana Shakti basically deals with the expulsion of waste outside of the body. Anything, whether it's the excretory system, whether it's the function of the excretion of waste, whether it's the release of sperm out of your body, whether it's release of sweat, whether it's tears, whatever you call it, all of these functions, any way the human body expulses any waste out of the body, it all falls under the Apana Prana Shakti. The fourth type of prana, as you can see right here, is the functions of the arms, legs and the head. All of these five aspects, both the arms, both the legs and the head, they all fall under the category of the sensory organs of the human being. Because of these arms and legs, as well as all of these organs which are residing inside the human head, we are able to interact with the outside world. With these eyes, we are able to see, with the ears, we are able to hear, with the tongue, we are able to taste, with the fingertips, we are able to touch things, with the feet, we are able to walk. Basically, all the organs, all the parts of the human body through which it can interact with the outside world, they all fall under the Udana Prana Shakti. Udana Prana Shakti gives life, gives purpose, gives function to all the sensory organs as well as the organs of the human body through which you interact with the outside world. This, along with all of the other organs, helps in creating a homeostasis condition inside the body. There is one more type of prana which we haven't created here, but it exists outside. As in the beginning of the video, I told you that prana exists inside the air. In everywhere you go, everywhere you see, as long as there is prana, there will always be enough supply of life force around of us. And this is where we all consume our prana from in the first place. This type of prana is called as Vyana. Vyana is basically the reserve supply of prana which is surrounding us, which is outside of this human body. This is the Vyana where we can absorb and consume any prana that we need for the proper functioning of the human body. It is there in abundance throughout the environment. All the organisms, whether they're animated or non-animated, living or non-living, they are all surrounded by this Vyana. And anytime you're running out of prana inside the human body in any form, in any of these categories, there is always going to be an abundance of prana in your environment from where you can immediately consume this prana and create a stable condition inside the human body. This is everything you need to know about prana and how it helps you create various organ functions inside the human body. I hope you found this video interesting and I hope you found it very informative. I will see you again next time. In the next video, we are going to discuss the various koshas, the various layers of human existence. But before that, I will like to take a leave. Thank you very much and namaste.